Hey, what's good, everyone? This is your man Z, and here's another episode of Passport to the Pros. Like we promised you, a real stories of real hoopers who decided to believe in themselves and take their talent overseas and see what they are made of. Our guest today is the perfect example who the man who believed himself went all around the world, built a resume for himself and chased his dream. He's a brother, he's a teammate. We won so many games together and we lost so many games together. But I'll tell you, we laughed so much. And people who know my guest, they know who I'm talking about. I'll let you, Patrick, introduce my guest.
Our guest today is Chad Hendrick, born in Houston, Texas, played his ball for the hometown Houston Cougars. His journey in professional ball took him to leagues in Italy, Jordan, Qatar, Syria, in the United States. This 6'6" guard or swing man, as some websites said, most recently played for El Karame, the Horns, in the Syrian SBL. And he even passed on some of his basketball genes to his younger son, Chad Hendrick II. So welcome, Chad. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
You know, Chad, you have no idea how I feel right now. I have mixed feelings. I haven't seen you in a long time. You were one of the people who I looked up to. The way you played the game, your energy, the way how you kept people around you having fun while we're doing what we're doing at the same time, stay on the highest level. After all these years, just seeing you here and catching up, man, what an honor to have you.
Well, the feeling is mutual. Likewise, I've been anticipating this for about a couple of weeks since we've been talking about it, and I'm very happy to be here. It's been too long since I've seen you and Chris, so I'm very excited to be here. I'm happy about it.
Right, and by the way, would like to welcome Chris again. Like we promised, he's gonna try to make his way here. He's still busy with his basketball career, and we all appreciate it, and we want to see him keep like striving, and we're all proud of him, but we also happy to have him. So Chris, thank you for taking the time to be here and share a moment with your brother as well. At some point we were all in the same league. It's funny times, but welcome, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me back on and being a part of it. Just a bit of nostalgia, having us, be together. Chad, I didn't have the pleasure of playing with you, but we were competitors against each other in the Syrian league. And to speak to your personality, I remember after one of the games, we were on the court together, talking and chopping it up. And I don't know if it was your teammates or some of the fans, and you just stopped and you were speaking the language. You were speaking Arabic, fluently. And I'm looking like I was like, you know how to speak the language? Like, yeah. And that was impressive, man. And
I appreciate that. Yeah, that was some. I don't, languages came easy to me, but that was a big thing for me. I like to get to know the cultures of the countries that I played in. So, it just made me feel a little bit closer to the people that I was playing for, representing. I felt like that I was representing them in their culture when I was in their country. So absorbing their culture and learning the way they speak is one doorway into their world. So.
Man, awesome. Well, we know you, but for the people who don't know you, in your own word, tell us more about Chad Hendrick.
Okay, well, from Houston. Well, I was born in Houston. Spent a little time in North Carolina, Salisbury, North Carolina. And then I made my way back to Houston. Lived in Houston for 30 years until about a year and a half ago. Now I'm currently residing in Philadelphia.
Nice.
Went to University of Houston for college basketball and my education. And that's pretty much the basics of me. Majored in pre-optometry and psychology.
That explains a lot. That explains a lot.
So so that's pretty much the
you
basics.
were playing mind games with us. Okay,
Hey,
I see.
It's part of it as well. It's part of it.
Right. Tell us more about your basketball journey. Like, how did it start? When you start to understand, like, okay, this is not just just thing, a hobby. I do it on the side or for fun. Like you growing up, you start to, get a certain size and start to know like, oh, I can. By the way, for people who doesn't know Chad, he can handle the ball very well, and he's ferocious scorer. Like, he will go to the basket every time if you give him the ball. So, so the people who doesn't know you, man, he's like an elite scorer of all the time, and one of the people I play with for sure. So tell us more about your basketball journey.
Well, like I said earlier, I have a original upbringings in North Carolina, and in that state, basketball is everything. Some of the best universities in America, when it comes to the sport of basketball, is in North Carolina. So just from growing from small, my family understanding the relationship between the Tar Heels and NC State and Wake Forest and Clemson. That was a big deal. So I was exposed to basketball pretty early, but it was everybody was doing it, so it wasn't a big deal. Then I ended up moving to Houston, and I realized that I was pretty good at it pretty early. I would say about around 14 or 15 years of age, I started getting really bit by the bug. And my father was big in basketball, and he would get me up every Saturday morning in high school to go play basketball on the weekends with him, things of that nature. So all those things right there kind of, planted the seed for me wanting to pursue the game of basketball.
Yeah, beautiful. We always need that person, to get us to work early in the years. Yeah,
Right.
Patrick, you have something you want to ask?
Yeah, I want to talk about your time at Houston. And you played under some pretty awesome coaches, including Clyde Drexler. But what did that time at Houston kind of teach you about yourself and your progression in basketball?
That's a good question, because for me, I would say I had I won't say unique, but I had a somewhat turbulent college experience. So I spent 4 years in college, and in the 4 years I was in college, I had 3 head coaches. Okay.
Wow.
2 of those and if anybody know anything about basketball, part of your success is consistency. And it's difficult to maintain any level of consistency when you have changes often in whatever you do. So it was a turbulent experience. Like you mentioned, 2 of those years I was coached by Clyde Drexler, and Clyde Drexler is considered one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game. And of course, leading up to that opportunity, we were all excited. We knew that that's an opportunity for our lives to change. And we was ready for that opportunity, but it didn't work out that way. It turned out that, the university and Clyde Drexler at the time, we just wasn't ready for that situation to happen. So what I learned how to deal with adversity in that situation. I learned how to not give up on what I knew I was able to do despite lack of success. I had to, my belief in my abilities had to come from within, and I didn't let my trials and tribulations with the University of Houston deter me. It just made me work harder at my skill set, to where any moment that you gave me on the court, I would be able to produce. Because I was put in that situation to where I didn't get a lot of opportunities. So if I wanted to pursue this game, I had to produce. If it was a second or 10 minutes, I had to do something. So I just learned how to deal with adversity very well.
Wow, very interesting. And when the international side start to come on the way, when did you start to explore that option, or, okay, I have limited options here, or no, I'm liking more my options overseas? How did that got into your career?
Well, after my freshman year in college, I realized that I was good enough to maybe pursue basketball past college.
Uh-huh.
I didn't think about playing, because in my era of basketball, just making it to college is success.
Right, of course.
If you play D1 basketball, you can stop at that point. You have succeeded as a basketball player.
Yeah, you proved I'm good. I earned my stripes.
You earned your stripes when you become a D1. So that was a goal in itself. But after my freshman year, starting the majority of the year, which was in my era, was a rare case, and I was a freshman in college in 98. That's how old I am.
Wow, man.
So, but in that time frame, being a freshman and starting was almost unheard of. But for me, I got that opportunity and I played well. I was able to rise up to the occasion. So that's when I started thinking about, oh, I could be a pro. And from America, you thinking, you're swinging for the stars, NBA. I can play in the NBA. And then from the city that I'm from being a warmer climate, we always attract athletes in the summertime. So we got a lot of the pros to come to the Houston. And I had an opportunity to test myself against these guys, and I was able to stand up. So I was like, okay, I could play. So the reason why overseas came into mind, because I've had such a turbulent professional career, I had to prove still that I was good enough to be in the NBA. So in order to prove that I was good enough to be in the NBA, I had to prove that I could play on a professional level, on any level, professionally. So that started my journey to go play overseas. I had to develop a resume. I had to prove to the big dogs that I can play. I can do what it takes to be a professional athlete. So that started my journey overseas.
Wow. And to keep on the same note, when you went overseas, or at least when I played with you and got to know you, you were that scorer, aggressive player. Was it like this the whole time in your career? Are you were always where I have to go score? Or is it an adjustment? Like, okay, now I'm in a place where I'm expected to be the man and be the one who run the show here. So I got to put the numbers together.
Ironically, by nature, I am a pass first player.
Okay.
Most people who know me as a professional don't know that about me. No one knows.
I'm like, okay.
But I am by nature a point guard. I'm a pass first player. My favorite part of the game
is this just for the camera, or is it?
No, my favorite player is Magic Johnson.
Sure.
I know that player, Magic Johnson.
I know that for fact. Yeah.
I love the fact of being a big guard that can look over the offense and have the same skills as a small player. I knew early, a freshman in high school, I knew early that if you are fortunate enough to grow height and have skills of a smaller player, that gives you an advantage.
So true.
Right.
Till this day.
So I knew then, I said, I need to hone the skills to be at the front of the game. Because regardless of what size I become, if I have those skill sets, I can play any other position. Right.
Wow.
So that was my mindset. So I'm actually a pass first player, but somewhere in my career, I have been put in positions to score, and I developed a knack of being a good scorer. Being a left-hander helps,
of course.
And I guess because of the way I see the game, but I was able to be an inventive scorer. So it just kind of happened over time, and being in situations to where when you have limited moments to show that you belong on the court, you have to do something that stands out to the layman's of basketball, and scoring is what does that.
Wow, that's so valuable.
Right. So then so I need to put the ball in the hole a little bit more to show that I belong on this court.
Right. So, Chris, we're talking with Chad right now about him going overseas and have, to prove himself, even though he know what he got, but you still have to go there and prove yourself. You had the same journey. You had to go through the same, challenges, but in your own way. Do you have anything to ask Chad, like things you wish you know what other players did and how they handle it? I'm trying to make it hard for you,
When you go back to, he was talking about his experiences in college and trying to navigate the challenges of having the coaching changes. And that's an important time in a player's career, being a young, student athlete, juggling all these things. And it impacts, like if it's coaching is so important at that time in your life, because they can dictate like what type of player you see yourself as.
That's right.
That's so true.
And how your role is on a team. And you had the wherewithal to, have the confidence to still believe that what type of player you were and to adapt to, the different coaches. For me, I had the opportunity, like I was lucky to have one coach my entire time there. So that kind of, he defined the roles.
He was a good coach too.
Thanks.
So to make that, it was a long. But what advice would you give players to handle something like that? Because I hear players, they naturally struggle and they say, man, it was my coach. I struggled because my coach, I had different coaches, or he put me in this box and I wasn't able to show my game. Or how would you give advice to a player?
That's a good point.
My confidence came from my work ethic. I tell this to my son. I knew that I innately knew personally that I wasn't going to be the most athletic. I already knew that. I knew I was going to be athletic, but there's a level of athleticism that I knew I was not going to achieve. I knew I was going to be the tallest. I know I was going to have limitations, but there's one thing that every human on earth does not have a limitation to. It's how hard they work at something.
Wow, of course.
I don't care what it is. So my advice to a young player is your confidence will come from your work ethic. If you put in the work, no one can tell you that you can't do it well. No one can tell you that because you have put in the work. And that work ethic will make you defiant against someone that tells you you're not good enough.
Wow.
So that's what I would give. That's my advice to the young kids. Your work ethic. You have to work at what you want to do at a way to where you are undeniably good. And it's possible to do. Even in situations when I knew I wasn't going to play, I'm not going to play. It stretches. It didn't stop. What they couldn't stop me from doing is going to the weight room. They couldn't stop me from getting shots up. And because I knew I wasn't going to be there forever. So my work ethic got me through it. I may not be able to participate in this aspect of what I love, but I can participate in getting better. It's almost like a musician. Maybe I want to play with this orchestra. I can't get on this orchestra team yet, so let me continue to practice. I'm not going to not practice my instrument because I can't sit with the first crew. I'm going to still work on my instrument. That's what I did. That got me through anything that I had to deal with in college. It was my work ethic.
Wow. You probably don't remember this. And so far, we've been together for almost 2 days, and I keep reminding him of things happen, and he told me, and he have no clue he did or say that stuff. And on the same regard, you guys remember I had some hard time and struggle at some point in my career, and it get devastating. It get so difficult. And I remember your advice along the way. You always were like, listen, man, keep doing what you're doing. Keep showing up. You don't know what's going to happen. A lot of time, and here is my message too to all the young athlete. You might be right. And you might be like, a victim for real, not just playing a victim. But that doesn't change anything. So your action, it's not what you were right. Nobody gonna come later and say, "Oh, you were right. Oh, you were mistreated." No, and that's what you always told me. It was like, "Come on, don't listen to this." And I remember the word you were like, "Keep showing up," because for a while I was like, "I'm just gonna find me another team. I'm just gonna seek new opportunities." And he was like, "Keep showing up. Keep doing what you're doing. One day everything will make sense." And honestly, it didn't make sense till a long time later. And I was like, but honestly, I really hear you, man. And I wanted to share this story because I want everybody to know that it's not just a bunch of good words together. When we talk about hard work and belief, it's not just motivational thing which sounds good and, it's good to listen to on your way to work and everything. No. This is the beginning of the commitment of a lot of activities daily thing. It's a contract between you and yourself. Hard work is never a day and never a week and never a year. It's those hours you stack while believing. And Chris also mentioned something. You're gonna get to some point where, um, it's devastating. You'll be like, man, I might question my whole career after this. But then later, when you look back, you were like, wow, what a ride,
Right. Absolutely.
With that being said, about the places and the adjustment, what would you say? What was your favorite destination or city or league you played at?
That's a good question. I've been to a lot of places.
Good places. Most of the places you've been, I'm like, wow, that's a good basketball.
Yeah, I've been a lot of places, and I'm not saying this because I'm here and I'm with my friend but I enjoy playing in Syria. I really did. Probably 80% of the people I met when I was in Syria, to this day, I still have some form of contact with.
Wow. Yeah. I believe it. And for the people from Syria will know Chad right away, but people from another country who know you from your career, I'll just tell everybody, man, Chad was loved. He was loved by the people in Syria. He played in different cities, in completely different cities, and different teams, but they loved him over there. For sure they loved him because he was the hero and he was but it's not easy. I would say Chris earned his love overseas from being consistent, being that nice, quiet person. Like, he doesn't bother you when he's around, and you see the product. You see like how he's developing every year. And for Chad, he just earned people hard by smile. A lot of jobs. I'm not surprising when you tell me he's still in contact with all these people.
Oh, man.
Because a lot of people I know overseas, when I talk to him, they always like, oh, do you see Chris? Do you see Chad?
Yeah,
They always like ask about you. So I'm not surprised. Okay, so you're getting close. You're doing very well, man. Who's your favorite teammate then? Yeah, like, oh yeah.
This guy right here. Listen, I'm gonna keep it. I've met many people around the world. I've met people where I was friends with where we didn't even speak the same language. Okay? But if I had to pick one teammate in my professional career that was the closest to me, is this gentleman right here.
Wow.
This guy is
Man, I was just
my brother
joking.
to me.
They like
And this is
Thank you.
serious. This is
Thank
no
you.
joke. So, being here, there's a lot wrapped in this. This is the first time we've seen each other more than 15 years.
Yeah. Yep.
All
That's the last time we saw each other
Yes.
15 years ago.
Yes. And there has been many things that has happened in our lives and in the world between that time and now. So there's a lot of things that's wrapped into this that is just, and I'm just almost lost for words. I am lost for words and just overwhelmed with joy to be able to spend this time with him, because he is truly a brother to me. And this guy, I told him when I first got here, this is the first time I've seen him in person about the same amount of time.
Right.
But I've been a fan of him outside of what he knows for years. I follow him on Facebook. I follow his career. I know everywhere he's been. I am his biggest fan, and he didn't even know it.
Wow.
I've been following him all this time. So when I saw him, when I got off the plane, it's like I've been seeing him. It wasn't like, oh, it's been so long, because I see him all the time on my feed.
So true.
So this has been amazing. And this guy right here, like, he is truly a brother to me. Absolutely. And will always be that to me.
Will always be. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Jose, if it was like you were going through your own, as a player, you going through your own, journey, navigating situations there. Like, you still had that positive. I know that's naturally your personality, but what made you like embrace imports? When like you showed me around,
Correct.
around your family,
Correct.
telling me the spots where to go eat.
Right.
So much interaction off the court that didn't have nothing to do
Yeah, none to do
like
with
basketball talks. It was like family, social thing. Like, I know that's a part of who you are, but what, like,
Thank you for mentioning that. Like, I would say I never thought about it, but sometimes I would think about it. Like, what makes us have this like brotherhood and bond like this. I don't know, at the beginning when you guys, because some of you came before the others, and then through connection we start to get to know each other, and some players like there's like when you go to Syria, man, contact this guy, he'll tell you what to do.
Right.
So for me at the beginning, I just, I believed in being a good person overall, and we mention it like a lot of time, when you're a good person, you're a good player. And bring it back to Kobe. Like I'm obsessed with Kobe, man, and if he never left anything behind. Right. So if being a good person gonna contribute for me being a good player and overall, make me who I am, I would rather take it this way. So at the beginning, it was just being a good person. At that time, when I first met you, I didn't travel anywhere. I would travel for like games with the team and stuff. So I didn't know what's the feeling to be different in a different country, to be completely exposed to a different culture. But for some reason, that's something I call destiny. When we met, I always like to start to be the person who start the good thing. And then honestly speaking, and I'm not saying this because you guys are here, I was inspired by you. And I'm a type of person who believe every one of us has his own skill. God is great, make no mistakes, and we all born with a gift. So for me, it was like I was inspired by your own gift. I was inspired by Chad's gift. And I was like, what can I learn from you? And then it was an amazing experience. I was like, well, what can I learn from him? And then along the way, I would have a hard time, and you guys who lift me up. So it become, I'm not helping them. They are helping me. They making like, my life completely different. We all listen to music. We all watch movies. I've never been in the States before when I met you guys. So for me, you were like the state for me, being right there. And again, you're not a regular people at the end of the day. You all had qualities that make people attractive. There is something about human being nature. We are attractive to success. We are attractive to someone who know how to hold his own, represent himself, and inspire other. If you guys were just a weak people, I probably would just like try to help you. Yeah.
Right.
But then I'm like, first I was like, well, I want to do what they do. I want to live that same journey. Me seeing Chris, like he said, I'm his biggest fan too. Seeing what he's doing, and then seeing Chad, like people who know Chad will have a big game, and we are down by like 20, and Chad going at it and trash talking everybody, and people like, slow down, you're down by 20. It's like, doesn't matter. I'm gonna I'm gonna kill you. Like he's go at it. And again, talking is the easiest thing in the world. They say everybody's expert until expertise is required. Right. So everybody like talk a lot, but then when it comes to real, okay, show me the result. The name of the game, result.
Right.
So when you see someone talk and then deliver, score 35, go back home like, he just dropped 35. I just know that, and playing with them. So I think all of this added to the fact that, okay, like those are my people. Like I'll take care of them. And you know how it goes. Like once we have someone new coming, like, oh, I have a commitment to Chris. So whoever his friend who's coming here, I'm going to have to take care of him just for Chris. If Chad have someone coming here, I'm going to have to take care of him just because of my brother. So, and it's funny, I didn't know how it goes until I moved here to the state. And actually before that, when I lived in Ecuador, not speaking Spanish at the beginning, completely different experience. I was the man right there. So I'm the one who have to go at it. And I will just remember you guys and I'm like, go for it,
Yes.
And yeah,
awesome.
That what makes you who you are.
That's right. I love
Yep.
that.
Well, I was just thinking because you did experience college basketball just like Chris in the United States and then going over there. But you talked about having different coaches at Houston, but you also played in multiple different leagues. Was it kind of the same adjustment to you, or because you had already gone through that, you knew what was going to happen?
That's a good observation.
Great.
Well, yes, the multitude of coaches in college did prepare me for the turbulent style of a basketball career. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be paying for a different team every year. There's a few athletes that are fortunate enough to get signed back-to-back contracts and stay on a team for a few years or a league and not have to move around. So you're typically faced with dealing with different organizations, managers, different coaches, coach staff, a completely different roster of players every year. So my experience in college did prepare me for that change. I don't rely on that type of consistency. I didn't rely on that. I didn't need that level of consistency to maintain a level of success. I can be thrown in a situation that's turbulent or new and adjust very quickly. And I think that experience in college did refine that skill in me.
Wow. I love that. I want to ask you a question, which is none of the question I was preparing to ask you, but just come to my mind. One of your strengths, I would say, from an outsider looking at you, you were a good shooter. You were like, you go to basket a lot. You see the court very well. I remember now but you build the relationships with people off the court too. I'm not going to mention names. You're going to know them right away. But we had some difficult players to deal with. But even those difficult players, they liked Chad and they liked to play with him. So is that coming from your nature or your studies or just you like manipulating people? I don't know.
Well, I would have to say when you accept the fact that you don't when you accept the fact that you may not be strong in certain aspects in life, then you have to develop other aspects to give you an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had this goal up here, my path to that goal, I had to kind of curate it, so to speak. Basketball is a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
In order for me to grow in the sport, yes, personally, I have to be successful. But a lot of my personal success depends on my teammates.
So true.
Right? And that's everybody. Even the person that's not playing at the end of the bench, I need him because I need him to be happy enough to come to practice so we can have 10 people to practice.
Yep, I've seen it.
So we can go up and down the court to learn the plays to play in the game. So that's why he's important. So I'm a fan of human relationships by nature as well. So all that gumbo of things allowed me to be able to understand that I need everybody to be on the same page. I need everybody to want to pass me the ball and want to receive a pass from me as well.
It's so true.
It's important for us to all have success. So my relationships with my teammates was important. I wanted to be likable and to know that I'm a likable person and I'm a honest and humble person because it was important for our success. Because I genuinely wanted success for the teams that I play for. I wanted us to be successful. And I know my success would rub off on them. So
of course,
that was my thing.
I'll tell you this incident. And of course, again, probably you don't remember it. We had this teammate who he was young and he was good, but he always needed to push. So I remember it, and it just flashed, in front of my eyes now when you were talking. You kept talking to him for 10 minutes, and the whole good time, it was a practice, but it was scrimmage. I'm not going to name the person again for some reason. No, he was a great person, but Chad kept going, talking to him while we having the scrimmage. And suddenly that guy went and dunked on someone so bad. And Chad ran to me and he was like, how can I say proud in Arabic? And I was like, Fakhur. And he went to say to him and he was like, Fakhur, I'm proud of you.
Yes.
And it hit so right on that guy. He was smiling all day because he made you proud, but because you were talking to him the whole scrimmage time. And it's very impressive,
Appreciate
to see that it's not only skill on the court. How can I lift other around me? And this is message also, because our podcast is all about the message we send to people. Invest in relationships.
Man.
You know,
That's an understatement.
it's unbelievable. Like, you and be genuine about it. Don't.
Yes.
Some people do it and it's like, I'll expect something one day from you,
Right, right.
which is human nature. But if you think about it as like, giving is the first step of receiving. So forget about receiving. Just start with giving and say how great it makes you feel. Most of the time, self-respect and, appreciating yourself and believing yourself is when yeah, I
one of the
my thing.
biggest advice I give my son is don't underestimate the people you meet in life.
Mm,
I said that's one of the most underrated skill sets to have in life to move up in life. And anything you do is networking. People you know, people you've met, the relationships you develop. That is so underrated, so undertaught when it comes to progression. You know, if I could go back and do something differently in my career, one of the things that I didn't do well enough is utilize the people I knew, network. I was the type of player who thought my game could do it. I'm good enough, and I was. But it's more to it
There's
than
more
how
to it.
good at what you are and what you're trying to pursue. So I did not curate my relationships well enough. My game was going to do it. I'm a lone wolf by nature, so that's a challenge for me to network in a way like that, to where you're networking and those relationships will benefit you on the progression. I had to learn that in life as I grew. I'm a lone wolf. I can do it on my own. I put in the work, but no, you need your relationships. You need to utilize your relationships as well. It matters.
wow.
It matters.
On the same point, investing in relationships. Recently, with the program I was doing with the MBA, that's the first thing you learn. It's not a one-day thing. You have to build the lasting impression, and always come from building relationship and think about it on a long time. And that make me ask you both a question on the same regard. Do you think as an athlete, because we are always in the position where there is a people around us and we knew what we have, does that make us a little bit taking a step back when it comes to relationship? Because naturally, everybody around you want to get to know you, but you always get selective about who I can really surround myself with. So when it get to relationship, you're always hesitant to take that step. Do you think that has an effect?
That's a very good point. Yes, I do. Athletes are fortunate in a lot of areas in life when it comes to the amount of money they can make, the access they have. So yes, people wanting to be around them increases, of course, and of course, when you are in a situation to where you are in a career when you're making good money and you have good access, you do tend to attract people with the wrong intentions as well, unfortunately. And in situations like that, you tend to be more cautious, be more aware, and be more hesitant in who you're dealing with, And depending on your value as well, increases your, discrepancies. It increases that because you have, the more you're worth, the more you have to lose. So the more you have to be wary of who's around you. So I do believe it plays a part. It does.
What about you, Chris?
I think
Thanks for sharing. Bro.
Absolutely.
I think let me see how would I put this. For me, I was like I would see other players or other people put themselves in positions where they were around people that had ulterior motives, and sometimes that plays into our egos as athletes. So for me, I kind of had a sense of I'm quiet, I'm laid back, and I try to observe. And I'm like, all right, how can I navigate? Like, I don't want to be around too many people. But on the flip side of it, I feel like one things that would have helped me is use opportunities to interact. Like today, I saw both of you guys, and Jose, for your community, one of your gifts is like you've created, you genuinely bring people here, and it's a community hub. And Chad, you are interacting with people. This is your first time meeting them.
Man, he was like, he'd been here for years. He was like, is he part owner? I was like, no.
And basketball opens doors for us to have the opportunity in it, but it becomes bigger than basketball. And you're not purposely, and like you said, the networking part of it, you're not purposely trying to get somebody to give you something.
Right.
But it is a networking opportunity.
Right.
And you never know what comes out of that. So for me, yes, you have to be, aware of somebody trying to take advantage of you because you're a basketball player, but also put yourself in situations with genuine people, where you can, get to know each other, and the exchange becomes just like just human nature. Like you just interacting, but it just happens that basketball is a thing that opened the door, and even if nothing comes out of it, you grow as a person.
That's right.
Like you having conversations with, this might be somebody that works in this field, somebody that works in that.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. Right.
Going back to everyone has his own gift, and just surround yourself with gifted people.
That's right.
And you're the average of the 5 people around you, so
That's right.
you'll be
That's right.
at least gifted.
That's right.
Patrick, you have anything you want to ask?
Yeah. Did my Google search of you, found a lot on your son.
Okay.
And I want to know,
Yes, let's talk about his
what's
son.
it like being a dad with a son who's trying to, kind of follow in your footsteps.
Well, that's a whole podcast by itself.
Right?
Right. Well, that's a good question. I think I said this, I may have or not, but he's a late bloomer. And I was the parent where I wasn't the parent that pushed what I did on my kids, especially something as potentially heartbreaking as pursuing a professional sport.
Yeah.
Okay. So I also knew that me pushing something like that on somebody, it's not going to benefit them, because you have to want something that difficult to do. You have to want it yourself. So I never pushed it on him. So he was a late bloomer. And then he started developing the itch of wanting to play. So now it's just, it's nostalgic, because I have to go down memory lane about the things that I had to do to make that journey. And it's surreal a little bit, just looking at him as a man, first and foremost, is surreal by itself. So I have to accept the fact that he's a grown man, number one.
Yep.
And the fact that I just love the fact that he's pursuing a dream, regardless of what it is. The fact that you're taking a chance on yourself is, I'm happy with that. And I'm very lucky, he turned out to be a great young man. So I'm just very fortunate that he turned out to be the man that he is. And the fact that he's following my footsteps keeps us very close. We talk all the time. He picks my brain, and I'm an open book. So it's been a fantastic journey, and I love taking this journey with him. It's almost like I get to do it again. So that's the fun part about it.
Yeah.
I get to tell him the steps where I stepped in the mud. You don't have to take that step.
He gonna step even if you told him.
He's still gonna step.
He's
in
gonna
some
go
mud.
back and say, "Well, my dad said."
Right.
Yeah. Well, shout out to your son, and I want to tell him your dad was great player, great person. You're lucky to have him around. We will have you here at some point, but this is the message from me to you. I never met you, but I know your dad very well. You're lucky to have him around. Keep soaking all that knowledge. Add your things, don't just listen to him. Add your thing, because that's at the end what's gonna make you who you are. But yeah, I just want to give him a shout out. Yeah,
That. He's
yeah,
gonna love. He's gonna love that.
yeah. He's living the same journey.
Yes, he is.
Being okay. So I want to go in a different direction. So I'm gonna ask a question I didn't ask Chris before, or it wasn't in my plan. How Patrick doesn't hate me for this, because I keep going off the script.
Can't hate
all
you.
good.
Can't hate you.
But you are a dad, so you are a role model for someone. Who was your role model? Is it a basketball player, a dad, a person, a friend, a teacher? Syrian friend. And you can say
I would have to say for me, I had a collection of role models. I would say.
Ooh,
I think I took little things from different people in my life along the way. Okay, and created who I am from just little pieces of relatives. I have uncles. When it comes to like, I had the outgoing personality that you may say I have. I would say that comes from an uncle of mine who I admired, something that he used to do that I thought was the most incredible thing that I do now. Whatever conversation you have with him, you're going to say a phrase that's a song, and he's going to know that song, and he's going to sing it.
no
I don't care
way.
what you say, you will say the most mundane phrase, and he will sing the line of a song that phrase is in.
Ooh,
And I thought that was the most incredible skill set.
it is.
And that stuck with me. So I would like to say that I have a accumulation of, inspirations
models.
and role models from different people. And that's just a good
That's
example of that.
awesome. Yeah.
Larry
Uncle
Warren.
Larry.
Yeah,
Uncle Larry,
That's right.
you are wanted right now.
Uncle Larry Warren. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are wanted. We need you here.
Yes, indeed.
We have
Yes,
a
indeed.
lot of lines and music to talk about. Chris, what about you, brother?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you the same question.
Yeah.
I need time to think.
Okay. You just buying time. I see.
Absolutely.
But I was gonna ask you that anyway. I'm curious, seriously.
I'm going to say something really crazy. Everybody going to think it's Kobe Bryant for sure. And he is not. But he's not in a funny way because I felt like Kobe was not a role model or he was like somebody like I knew very well. Like I've never seen him. I'm just like any other fan. But it got to a point where I feel like I know him very well. So I run my life by you, I follow the same mentality and everything. But I don't think he was like the role model for me that I wanted to be. It started with, my dad because I always wanted to have to be a good person, and he was serious, old school. He will never come to my game probably. Even when I told him like I was selected for the national team, he was like, "Wow, no wonder we are sucks." And I was like, "Wow, that's a motivation right there." It's an old tough love.
Yes.
But it started with him. But I'm more like Chad. I'm more like you. It was collecting great value and great, specialties for everyone I knew. Funny enough, which is also, I think people don't know it, I had a friend visiting me in my house recently coming from Germany. And when he got to the house, he was like, I expect the house to be full of Kobe Bryant posters and books and stuff. But it was Michael. He was Michael Jordan. And I'm like, when you are on the other side of the world and Michael Jordan is the icon for basketball, you look at him in a completely different way. But when you come here and meet people who knew Michael and spend time with him and you hear the, behind the scenes story, you were like, how could a man on this earth have so much power like this?
Yes.
Like, he's good at basketball. He's good at media. He's good at trash talking. He's good with money. He's good with investment. He's good with family. I'm like, what? Like, really, everybody want to be like Mike, but it's impossible to be like Mike. I looked back in the days on Muhammad Ali, how he used his name and image to reach people's heart, regardless being a boxer.
Right.
And I was fortunate enough to meet his cousin, Mr. Abe Thompson. And at that time, he was the owner of the Chicago Sky, the WNBA.
Yeah.
And I heard stories from him about Muhammad Ali. And I was like, I'm so impressed. You're hearing things people wait in the news to hear it,
Yes.
So Michael always been like, wow, how could a human being on earth have that much energy around, players, your favorite all-time players look at him as I'm scared when he's
Yes.
around.
His competitive spirit is what I love.
Sadly didn't get to see him, talk to him. I spent some times around the Hornet, but wasn't fortunate enough to be around him. But I would say if anybody's a role model, yeah, Mike.
That's a good one to have, I must say.
And that Mike with a cigar and looking down at you.
Right.
And
That work ethic, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
About you, Chris?
Same as you guys. You said you took pieces from different people in your life and upbringing. So family, the first part of it. My mother, a single parent, first person in our family to go to college. I just remember her, just doing everything to
Give her a flower, man. Yeah.
Thanks.
to make me, I didn't feel like I missed out on things, even though we were, in the inner city.
Right.
So she made it work all the time. I remember, I thought, like, she had so much going on. I thought it was like Valentine's Day. So, you get the cards and kids, they bring the cards.
Yeah.
And I wasn't gonna say anything or ask, but I was kind of sad. I didn't think she was gonna be able to do it because just everything going on financially. And I woke up the next day and I saw the cards. I was like, oh,
Wow.
small thing.
of course.
Man, those
matters.
small things
Yeah,
that make
the
big
small
difference.
things
Yeah.
matter, man.
Shout out to all the moms,
Shout out to
man.
mom.
Yeah.
And also, my grandparents, they were from the South. They had the old school methods, old school spiritual stuff about church going. So I used to go to church every Sunday. My grandfather was a pastor.
Foundation, right?
Yeah, so all of
No
those
wonder.
ethics and stuff that they instilled in me helped me kind of stay away from trouble. That helped me in basketball.
Facts.
Regardless of the surroundings. I had that foundation from my grandparents. And then as far as basketball, this wasn't an early on role model, but when I started getting like my career going, I looked towards Kareem. Because I'm from Milwaukee, so
Right.
he brought us our first championship.
That's right.
True.
And I kind of was like, he played for so long.
Yep.
So I tried to study, his blueprint, how he took care of his body, yoga. He was academic.
That's
and
right.
Man, it's hilarious. You're a copy of him. You're same. You take care of your body, same stuff.
It's funny you say that, and you talking about your basketball role model. Well, you said that people would think that Kobe Bryant is your role model. Well, my basketball role model is Kobe Bryant,
It is cool.
but it wasn't for the basketball per se. It was for his. Now it's a cliche word, Mamba mentality.
Right.
But I've been on his mentality since 2005.
Yeah.
So I understood his approach.
Right.
And I felt like we looked at the game differently. Not necessarily from a traditional, because Kobe didn't look at basketball from a traditional basketball player's perspective. That's why he was able to do what he did. He looked at it more in an artistic way, actually. And I felt like we were similar in that way as how we approached. Like, for instance, he wasn't an athlete that hung out with his peers, not to be a mean guy or to not that he wasn't social. He just was focused. And I was like that in my professional career. You remember, I didn't necessarily hang out with the other Americans that came to the countries that I played in because I was trying to cut your head off.
Yeah.
So I wasn't trying to be your friend.
Yeah, and that's what I
like that.
hate
We
nowadays.
friends, but
Like,
not really. You
man,
know?
I hate nowadays. Like, I've never been a friend with other. Like, I will, see you, talk to you.
We cool.
And I know Chad, like, we know he will take his food, go to his house,
That's
like,
it,
a
and
little
chill.
jazz
That's
and chill. Yeah, because I'm going to kill you tomorrow. I'm not
Yes,
supposed to be your
absolutely.
friend today,
And when you approach the game like that, my thing was because I was so determined to work on my goal, I tried to eliminate anything that can veer me off the path. So when you keep a level of consistency like Kobe did, when things go wrong in your gameplay, you can immediately see what changed in your day
to know
make
what's
you
missing.
change your game.
That's a
So, and
great
he
point.
lived that way. He did everything the same very consistently because it's very easy to make adjustments when something is off when you don't perform well. Like, man, I forgot to cut my toenails before the game.
Yeah.
Y'all laugh, but that matters.
Man.
works. Man.
It matters. I didn't always know when I didn't cut my toenails because I don't play well
Yeah.
if I don't cut my toenails.
Man, just everybody, I need you to know, basketball player is the number one player. Like people in the world who think like you
With
know,
quirks.
oh my god, my hair is
Yes.
was
OCD,
this
man.
way. Yeah,
I have OCD so bad.
I wore my short, you know, in reverse at the beginning. It's not a good day, man. You know,
Yes.
it's like, oh, like my mom would be like, I was like, don't talk to me today.
That's
No, no,
right.
no, not today. You know, so okay. Well, with that being said, let's get to the main event. Who's your starting lineup?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Good question. So my point guard, easy, Magic Johnson.
God,
I
everybody
love
want
the fact
Magic
that he's
Johnson.
6'9". Listen, it's hard to beat a 6'9" point guard that can
Damn,
look
do we need
over.
to get Magic here? Just
Man,
I don't know.
listen.
Everybody's saying Magic. now.
Hard to go there. Number 2, I'm going with Mike. I mean, I love Kobe. I'm going with Mike at the 2 guard. He's the best player that ever played.
Ever
Okay.
is my goal.
My 3.
Okay, here we
So-
get.
All right. So this is where we get good.
Okay.
Traditionally, my 3 is Bird. Okay. All day. That's what I'm going to say. So it has adjusted because I'm impressed with what LeBron has been able to do over the longevity of his career. And because of that, it's hard now to keep Bird in my starter 3 because of what LeBron brings to the game. Okay.
That makes sense.
So it's a toss-up between those 2.
So we always say you can have a backup. Like, okay,
Okay.
your Magic, who's your backup guard?
Okay, my backup point guard behind Magic Johnson. Okay, so I'll do old and I'll go modern for backup.
Okay.
My modern backup point guard. Ooh, that's a good one. My modern backup point guard.
Yeah. Say
Chris
that.
Paul.
Chris Paul. Man, I would never think you would pick up Chris. No disrespect for
Chris Paul.
the point guard, man. No disrespect.
I
But
know.
just
For anybody that can give you a 15 assist game and 0 turnovers in the playoffs,
so true.
I'm taking that guy. And he was 100% from the field. And he didn't get hurt. The Rockets would have won that championship this year.
Wow.
So I'm going Chris
He's still
Paul.
playing. He's still
And
playing.
he's still
Shout out
playing.
to Chris Paul.
People don't give him credit. He was playing 20 years too.
Right.
It's way harder for a little guy to do
Yeah.
than a big guy.
Especially now where point guard is completely different than his. Yeah.
Exactly.
He's been in different phases
Absolutely.
before the new modern point guard or
Absolutely.
whatever you name it.
Right.
Okay, let's get to the
I'm
big
going Chris Paul. So my 2 guards, I'm going Jordan and Kobe.
Kobe is a backup. That
Facts.
makes sense.
My starting small forward, then I'm going LeBron starting, and then I'm putting
And
Bird
Bird.
coming off the bench. Okay.
Man.
My power forward is probably going to be surprising to people. My favorite power forward, who I will go with, is Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley.
Say that.
That's my power forward all day long. I'm picking Charles Barkley
Is it the personality or real basketball?
because he's the epitome of what we say in basketball as a dog.
Yeah. Yep.
He was the first person to say, I am not the role model.
Oh yeah.
He was
That's
the
true.
first to say that. I'm not
That's
a role
true.
model. He said, your parents should be your role model.
Oh,
I'm here to cut throats on
Ah,
the basketball court. So,
man.
and I like that type of competitor. I like
Yeah.
I like competition
Right.
and to be fiercely competitive. And he was that, you know. And my backup power forward, I'm gonna say Timmy.
Timmy.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go Tim Duncan. I'm gonna go.
Yep.
And my starting center, I'm going the Dream.
Oh.
Hakeem the Dream is my starting center, and who I'm bringing off the bench, I'm going with the Skyhook.
Kareem.
Kareem.
Man.
That's my starter.
That's
bench.
that's a great.
Yeah.
That's a great team. You know, I was shocked with Chris Paul.
That's always a
I was
surprise to me.
impressed with Charles Barkley because people don't mention him
Don't mention Charles.
and you know top 5 that
That's
much. And when you look back at what he did, and also, his even after playing, he was still a great.
That's right.
He was still a personality in TV.
He only didn't win because of Jordan.
Yeah.
That's it.
You can't blame him for that.
He's the wrong era.
Seriously, he came in the wrong.
That's right.
He came at the time where Michael would not lose.
He would not lose. It was his league.
It was his league. It was his league.
Okay.
So I got a question because you said a lot there in your starting five, but Chris Paul is one of those players who makes everybody else on the court better. Is that still the case in this NBA, that there are players that are still going to develop like that?
That's
hard.
a great question. I'm glad you brought that up because now that brings us to talking about the day's NBA. So, and I feel like this across the board with a lot of things. I've been having this conversation quite frequently. There's an evolution that we're going through across the board in every facet of life. There's an evolution across the board. And basketball is no excuse. The game of basketball is completely different than when I played it. It's different. It's a different skill set you need to play today's game because how the game is, because of what makes you a successful player in the sport. Mm-hmm. Okay, the Chris Pauls, that's may be an extinct way to play basketball. Think about it. What point guard is a pass first, I'm going to get 20 assists and 3 points that's playing in the game? None. Other than Chris Paul. And when he retired, that's it. There's nobody like that.
Yeah, he's the last of it.
The guys the top 5 assist guys, 3 or 4 of them are not point guards.
True.
They're not points.
Yeah.
They tried to say that Harden is a point. Just because you are playing at the point guard position don't make you a point guard. And they say, he get a lot of assists. Just like you can score a lot of points and not win, you can get a lot of assists and not being a point guard as well. Wow. So the game is different. It's completely different. That type of game is different now. There are aspects of the game that has been removed because of the way because of the statistics. We had this conversation.
We were talking
earlier.
about it. Yep.
Now the analytics, we're looking at basketball more so in an analytic way, like baseball. So they're cutting a lot of the fat out, so to speak.
Right.
To the rim or give me 3 points.
Right.
Statistically, yes, that makes sense. The easiest shot in the game is a layup. 2 points. That's for sure.
High
points.
percentage shot.
And if you're not going to get the easiest for sure shot, then take the shot that's going to give you the most points, a 3. So it makes sense. But that in turns have changed the game completely.
Right.
Completely. Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so that will bring me to one of my favorite questions because I always say, people ask me like, do you want to be a coach or an assistant coach? I was like, nah, not really. People were like, you're so humble. You don't want to be a coach. I was like, no, at all. I want to make a decision. So I always, recently, my new dream is if I keep going with basketball, I want to be a general manager one day. So we'll assume you are a general manager now for a team and you are the mover and shaker. You make all the decision needed. There is no pressure on it whatsoever. How would you run your team? Like how you build it? What would you do to have a successful team? If not winning championship, at least go to the final.
Well, it's funny you asked this. I know we kind of mentioned
coming right at you too.
We kind of
get ready.
We kind of talked. You kind of mentioned this earlier, and I decided to keep this jewel until this. The general manager coach question. So recently, I've had an opportunity to be a coach on a professional level. Happenstance.
Something we didn't know about.
You're right.
Okay.
So I was the head coach for an ABA team.
ABA team.
Yes.
Okay.
For about a year and a half.
Yeah, you're keeping surprises for the fans.
Yeah.
Okay.
ABA.
I played in ABA. Yeah.
So it ended because I ended up making the move from Houston to Philadelphia. But I ended up having fairly good success. I ended up coaching 18 games. I only lost 2. Wow. 18 games. The first 10 games I coached, I was 10-1. I took over for a coach. They had 10 games left. They was 5-5 when I took over the team. And under me, we was 9-1.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
Yes,
9-1.
Yes, and then we start off the next year undefeated until I end up having to come here. So for me as a leader, and I'm going to tell you, coaching, running a team is dramatically more difficult than playing. Tell you right now.
Wow, completely.
I will play over coaching any day.
Yes,
Okay?
yes.
And I never even had in my mind that I could be a coach or wanted that type of deal. I always saw myself as more of a skills trainer, individual skills coach. I could probably do something like that.
Yep, I can see you.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I managed to have some success. But the one thing that I would say, and I did, and I recommend, is the most important thing when it comes to success on a sports club is to define roles.
Ooh, of course. Yep.
That to me, especially when it comes to your players have to understand what we expect from them every time. And they need to know that that's what we expect every game. And it's not going to change that much. Yes, you're going to have little situations to where we have to make adjustments, but it's difficult for a player to give you everything they have when they don't know what to expect.
What's their role? What they
That's
are
the
here
hardest thing for a player is to not know what's coming. If you know every game you're only going to play 2 minutes, I guarantee that guy that knows he's going to play 2 minutes, it'll be the best 2 minutes you ever seen in basketball.
for. Right. Because he know this is my.
But he know I'm gonna get 2 minutes after the third quarter. At this time, I know coach
This
gonna
is
put
me.
me in. Just on instinct, his body is gonna be ready for that moment. So roles. This is my guy. This is a guy who we could lean on to put the ball in the hole. Now, yes, you're gonna have nights when you're gonna be hot. Yes, you're gonna be hot where the matchups where we need you to be more dominant. But at the end of the day, this is the guy. When I need a bucket in clutch moments, this the man, and y'all need to be happy with that. I need you to get rebounds. That's what I need you to do. Yes, you can put the ball in the hole, but I gotta get this from you.
Wow.
If you establish those roles, then your success chances increases drastically.
You know what's funny? There's even NBA team right now where I've seen that not all the players know why we are here. Like,
That's
what's
right.
my role here?
That's
like,
right.
even you would see on the summer time, he's working with his trainer and his people.
Right.
On a shot, he's not going to take in the game because he doesn't know. Like, this is
doesn't
not
know
my
his
role. So, even now, team, they start to find a way to have that person to be in communication between what the teams and the coaches expect for this player, was his role, and how to talk to his people and trainers and everybody. Like, he have to be heavier. He needs to put on some weight. So they talk to his nutritionists. We need him to be like more a set shooter. So they work on how to make the plays to go to him. So he will work all summer on the ball coming from, like, let's say, in and
From a
going
drive
out. Yeah,
to the
to him.
corner and
So he's all
underneath it.
summer preparing for this. It goes to the same point that know exactly your role.
Know your role. Gotta know. You can't. The worst thing coaches do is say it's an equal opportunity situation.
It's never equal.
That is the worst thing you do to your team.
Like marriage, saying marriage is, and it's 50-50.
That's
It's like
right.
never
That's
50-50.
the worst thing you can say. It's
a whole nother broadcast.
Everybody got a chance to play. No, you don't say that. You need to tell the guy that's not going to play that much, you're not going to play
You're
that
not going to
much.
play that much.
But this is what makes you important. You're not going to play that much, but why you're going to be important is because the reason why this guy is playing well is because you beat him up in practice every day. He's working on his game every day against you. You pushing him. You're making him better. Without you, he wouldn't be able to do what he's doing on the court. So that's why you're important. No, you may not play. But there better be a moment when he get hurt. Guess who I'm going to? You. But I need you to be ready.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be playing 20. Don't think this is my chance. I'm going to play 40 minutes. No. Don't think that.
Wow.
Think you're going to play maybe 8 minutes and then be surprised when you get 20 minutes.
Yep.
But if you know your role, that's when you have success. You can't have
Man.
everybody thinking that they have the same opportunity. I can't get on the court thinking I got the same opportunity as Chris, 7'1" Chris.
He's 7 foot online.
You know
So
what I mean? So I'm not gonna have the same opportunities as him, you know?
yeah, no, that's, thank you. That's knowledge to everyone who's
Right.
listening or watching. This information only comes from someone who's been doing it for years. So thank you. That's like, you're preaching right now, and we'd love to hear it.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna, you talk about roles, when I was at Villanova, and it's like this at other places that you say like different roles, same status.
That's right.
So if I was a GM, and for me, you hear this word a lot. Culture is kind of cliche. You look at the Spurs, you look at Miami, it's kind of like they have a bit of consistency on how they run things. And I think it starts with the GM, the leadership, and what type of, players, the specific type of, character guys that they bring into the fold. And I think you need to like do your work early and investigate what type of guys you want.
Right.
In those situations, for me, if I was a GM, it's not so much about, obviously you got to find guys that have the ability in today's game, but something that is hard for guys to have in today's game because everything is so, quick and they get, gratification.
Yeah, instant gratification.
But one thing that you can't have fast is like grit and having a chip on your shoulder.
That's right.
And like we spoke about our challenges, like how you handle that, just having some, some stuff about you that,
Right.
that you don't feel like a star because you've been through. You always got to fight for something, scrap for something, and I think that's what makes the teams like the Miamis, the Spurs.
Right.
What I learned from Coach Wright is like this is, what type of guys we're going to recruit.
Yeah.
If you look at, even Jalen Brunson on the Knicks, you look at him killing or whatever, but he always had doubts about his size, his athleticism.
Right. He made sacrifices for them to be where they are right now. The Knicks never had a good season in a while, so it shows character. Yeah.
So I think it starts with, what type of guys you bring in, and then you have a system, and you all stick to that.
What I was thinking that it's really funny now. Now I know why we close to each other because I'm exactly what I think about being a great general manager is what you both said. I always said, I remember I was having an interview with the Hornets and they asked me about what my style of coaching will be if I'm with the staff or how I will deal with the players. And my answer was, culture is the most important thing. But the problem, culture doesn't come in one day and it's not like, it's a script or something and I'm going to sit down and teach it to everyone. No, that's not how you create culture. People always go to motivation. Motivation is great, but it's a short term. I can get you motivated for an hour or two, probably a game. But if you don't create culture, nothing will last. And culture come out of multiple things you put together and you're like, you perfect it to come to a culture, and then you lead this by example and you start to pick up people on the way that have the same type of mindset. Like you can tell people don't smoke, and if you smoke, nobody will listen to you. They just seen you smoking, but when they see it in you, when they see how you lead by example, they start to want to be like you, or at least be like, well, I'm not going to be a horrible person around him. I will watch myself. And a little bit, there's 2-3 people doing the same thing, so the culture start to grow and big. So culture is absolutely the main rock for the whole thing. But I'm a big fan of role players because nowadays, especially the NBA changed their CBA agreement and they making sure it's very hard. And they say it too many times. They want to make sure it's very hard for a team to win back-to-back championship. It's always like to have a new championship
Parity,
team.
yeah.
Yep. And the Celtics, they were about to beat this and say like, no, we're gonna win championship because he promised it's gonna be a new team most likely because the new CBA agreement makes it very hard for a team to carry too many superstars. Because you will have a crazy balance sheet and you would have to pay a lot of money in luxury taxes. And now, the second ever and first ever is like just way more strict before to not be able to stack those players. So what's the solution? In my mind, you need the main person, that person who's not only a good player, he's a good person. He have that assassin mentality that I can get him going. and then bring someone who, secondary star, when my main star is not doing well, I have another, dog to go at it. But I really believe, going back to you, having role players,
Listen,
bunch of role players, let them know exactly where they here. Like, you here to pick up the other point guard full court from the beginning.
Right.
We're gonna play with pressure. I'm like, my style of playing, for example, I'm gonna put a pressure on you from a minute number 1 to the minute number 40. I don't want to steals. I don't want all that crazy thing, but I'm just gonna make you play under the pressure. I'm gonna make it so hard of you to play with your base. So hard for you to call your own plays. You're gonna always have to make a plays at the last 12, 10 seconds of the 24, seconds, just because it's so hard for you. I need 2, 3 defensive players to keep running. Then I need scorers, shooters. So just bring more role players. Let them know why you are here. I'm not paying all this money just to come and do what you think you want to do. And actually, I'm sure you guys will agree on this. Both of you didn't become that superstar or that player until you know how to perfect your weapon. Like, this is what I do. If you put me any day on any team at any place, I'm going to go get you 14, 15 rebound. I'm going to get you 30 point. For me, I'm like, every quarter, no matter what, I'm going to have a 3-point shot and a layup. And anything else is great. But anything less, now there's something not going right. And it doesn't take much, You're not going to make every shot, but now you are aggressive players. You have your numbers. So if I know this is what I need, break it down. At the end, it's not, it's not crazy. Okay, I'm going to, I hate to end up this. I can talk to you, especially you. I can talk to you for hours. And so imagine Chris and Patrick here. Man, it's getting dark already.
I see. Yes.
But I will ask you a last question, which is mix of basketball, mix of life, mix of everything, which has two sides of the question. What's your favorite career moment? And after you tell me your favorite career moment, if you have the chance to change anything about it, would you? Or you would just do it again the same way it happened? That's a tough question.
I thought I had my answer earlier.
Good luck.
Career moment. What's my favorite career? I do have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
So, my favorite basketball career moment would have to be when, as a college athlete, I came back home to North Carolina with University of Houston, and we played NC State in front of all of my family from Salisbury, North Carolina. They drove all the way to see me play. And I have an uncle who was the most proud of me that day. And I remember how proud he was of me. And I will never forget that. And that was like my favorite moment. Coming from a place like Salisbury, North Carolina, that most people in America has never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
So shocked that he has heard of it. Okay. And to come from this little tiny small place on earth and make it to a big D1 school and play in front of my family like that was amazing.
That's a moment.
And I wouldn't change anything about that moment. I wouldn't change anything about that moment. I wouldn't change anything about that moment.
Man, the way you're talking about it, I can see it. I can see it in your eyes.
Yes.
I love those moments. I love those moments because they just stay for life.
Yes.
And it's funny, a moment like this, everything makes sense.
Yeah.
Everything makes sense. All the ups and downs and the people who helped you. And it's funny, we always talk about the people who helped us, people who believed in us. But let me tell you all that my biggest motivation is the people who didn't believe in me. Yeah. I was like, I'm coming after you. I'm gonna let everyone know, so sorry, man, you didn't believe in it because you didn't see it. So shout out to all the people who didn't believe in us. You were just another reason. So we need you around. We need you around. Man, thank you so much again. You made my day, my weekend. Having you and Chris, I mentioned that before, and it would sound so drama, but I'll be honest. For being in the stage for probably 12 years now, this is one of the moments where I'm like, my people, my real friends who
Thanks.
knew me when I was nobody, when I was struggling, knew me when I was
Just a
a
kid.
fan. Yeah, I
A
was a
kid.
kid.
A
I was
kid.
I was a kid, and I don't have brothers. I'm the only son. So for me, I was running between you guys just like a little brother, and then coming here and seeing you putting the support, and you both coming here just to be part of this. It mean the world to me, and I would never like we used to say this to ourselves and to each other. It's never goodbye,
Never
you know.
goodbye.
I'll see you later,
later.
but it's never goodbye.
Thanks.
Looking forward to have more people over. We have few big names. Samaki Walker, man, you've been with us and been part of this journey. Would love to have you. Damon Williams, a lot of big names on the way. I don't want to give up too many names too early, but we still have a lot to come. This podcast was made for the people to be inspired, and there's too many sports deserve to have the lights on. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys, to having you.
Thank
If
you.
you want to say anything
Yeah.
to your fans, please.
I just
feel
hope I
free.
get a chance to come back. This has been fun.
I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
I had a fun. Great time.
Thank you. Hopefully, we'll have more players, and you are guys connected to those players. So it's fun for me to sit down and watch you guys sharing stories and memories and lessons. You know, Chris, thank you again. Yeah,
Thank-
brother.
thank
You
you.
know.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just, from day one, I picked up the phone. I was like, man, I have an idea. I want to run it by you. And he loved the idea and he was like, let's do it. And we're doing it. So thank you for being here. And thank you for you both being who you are. That's by itself. It's a pleasure. It's a gift from God. Hopefully we'll have your son one day with us.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Chris will have, your friend or people you want. And Patrick, thank you, man. You also big part of this. So
Just glad to be a part of it.
thank you. It's still have a lot going on. And thank you and take care. We'll be in touch.